Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ultimate Sacrifice, known as Justin Tate. We've got Dan, Brad, and Glenn pushing the buttons tonight. How's everyone today?
Fantastic, Justin. It's been a great week, mate. So been looking forward to seeing these guys come into this race. Bathurst is always epic. So looking forward to it, mate.
What about you, Dan?
Good evening, everyone. As I said before there, my name is Daniel Cicluna. Most people refer to me in OOR as Scooney. And honestly, I just wanted to say a massive shout out to Glenn, or Mr. Peabody as everyone knows him for making this all a reality in such a short amount of time. And honestly, what a place to have my first crack at commentating at OOR. Of all places, the heart of Australian motorsport, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We are super pumped. So yes, this is the Motorsport Australia Simagic GT3 Cup, brought to you by Octane Online Racing. And we are super pumped because this is some of the best ACC drivers in the world racing tonight. So we're starting off with the Pro-Am drivers. They are not too shabby at all. We always are a little bit shocked on just how fast, particularly this person on screen, Sasha Death. She is very quick. She's one of our international drivers, so if you see a grey number next to a driver's name, that means they're an international driver, not an Australian driver. They are not competing in the same series, but they are here competing, and they do have their own prizes that they will be competing for as well. And yeah, like Sasha Death has just been nearly untouchable in every single race in this Pro-Am series. Probably should have been a pro, but it was a tight squeeze. And yeah, here's the championship points. Look at that lead. That is unbelievable.
Jesus.
That is very impressive. That is definitely what you call untouchable there, isn't it?
Absolutely head and shoulders above the rest of the competition there. That is incredible pace there from Sasha.
Yeah, it was. She has been just like, I don't know how to describe it other than just untouchable. She's just the carrot that everyone's chasing every single race almost. I think she's been slightly, I'm trying to think, last weekend I think she got beaten, but she finished. There was like all sorts of things happening in that race last weekend. We had crazy amounts of action. There was spins, there was passes, there was we've been running a pretty interesting strategy with the spits, the sprints that we're doing. I call it a sprint because we're doing a hour-long race with 2 pit stops, so it's just like 20-minute stints, bang like qualifying pace the whole time. Everyone's going flat out. The format tonight, Glenn, do we have the format for tonight? I'm sorry, I did not get my brief notes up in time.
Yes, we've got a 60-minute race, 2 pit stops, and for tyres, and optional obviously for fuel, but most of the team, the drivers will take fuel at both stops, and yeah, that's it. No pit window, so just 2 compulsory stops.
Awesome, thank you very much, Glenn. So, as you heard it there, it's going to be, I call it, they're sprint races. You're just going flat out. You're not worrying about your tyres at all. Although it is Bathurst, you do have to worry about those big walls and the scary off-cambered and bumpy corners and all that sort of stuff. There's plenty of places to go absolutely wrong and destroy your race here. And it's a long way round if you do it on the upside of the mountain. You've got to drive the last half of the lap with a bend car, so it'll be interesting. That I find the strategies might not vary too much. We've had some pretty crazy variations in strategies at other tracks, but this one, the undercuts and overcuts might be a little bit harder to pull off with a 2-minute lap. What do you guys think? Dan?
Well, as someone who likes a bit of an overcut, especially in ACC, I reckon, yeah, just firing up the tyres is going to be a big challenge, especially for a track around like Bathurst. Going up the mountain, the car is a little bit skittish, especially when you first pass the mountain there. Pressures aren't quite up yet. Temperatures are not in the perfect window. So as we see, wow, Sasha
Yeah.
just went way off track there.
She's decided she wants to pit.
Yeah. Well, I just saw that in the background there, but yeah. So mastering that overcut or undercut, whatever, is going to be critical to your race.
That's it. Wonder how many people, considering there is very few places to really take aggressive overtaking outside of getting some drags at the end of the straights. You just got to basically fall in line if you're going up and over through the top. How many do you reckon that might pull in early, trying to get a little bit of clean air and try and catch up at that point there? It'd be interesting, as you said, still 2 pits, compulsory pit stops through the middle of it. If there's no specific time frames for that, I don't know, what do? Do you try and get a couple of them over and done with early on, or you push on? Interesting ways to go about it.
Let's not forget the safety car is very possible, especially midway through the race. So lots of different strategy options, and we'll just have to wait and see what everyone does.
Yeah, I'm still surprised Sasha Death being down a bit. She wasn't happy with either of her laps, I don't think. Her second lap was actually 3/10 slower than her first one. Again, I pointed out how quick she has been, but maybe the Ferrari's not as favoured here. There's we're into the nines.
Into the
Goodness.
Right.
Yep. I was just about to say, Leo is just, he was a good 0.6 of a second just when we had all the, looking on the sides there, and now he's out to 0.7 of a second quickest. That's fantastic. He's definitely in the groove there tonight, isn't he?
Absolutely. For a Pro-Am, that is a extremely impressive time. He's gapped the field by 7/10, and it'll take a very, very special lap to even match Drea there.
We're actually 5/10 up here on board with McNeely, so this lap's looking pretty decent. As they come across the line. Do you like this portal-themed car? I reckon it's beautiful.
I love it.
That is very cool.
P2. Very nice.
P2, very nice. Still 5/10 off though. Still 5/10 to find. Wonder if they can find those 5/10, but yeah, here we go. Cooley's on a decent lap here, but looking a little bit skittish into the final corner and gets it nice and squared, and that puts him up to P8.
Yeah, Chris Gilly actually was very, very fast a couple of weekends ago. A track that the Aston actually seemed to do quite well at. I'm trying to remember which track it was. I just remember him chasing Sasha the whole race. Like it was Sasha, then Chris, and then a massive gap, and he was like about a second or so, and just slowly losing about half a tenth to a tenth every single lap. It was like almost identical lap times for the entire race. We're on board with Mike Reel over the top, and as he throws it down to this lovely bit of track. Looks pretty tidy, looks pretty neat. Gained a little bit of time, but not too much. Nice. Yeah, very close to that wall.
Yes, not leaving a millimetre, is he?
Unfortunately, doesn't get as good an exit as his best lap. So he's probably going to end up being slightly behind by the end of the straight.
Every time you go through that little kick just before Forest Elbow, you are flirting with danger. And I can say that from experience for the race that I had on Wednesday night. It was not great.
Must have been the two of us, mate, coming down that last little bit when you're going, I reckon I can brake about a quarter of a hundredth of a second later. No, you can't.
And you just shoot yourself straight into the inside wall and lose 13 seconds as Reel goes up to P7 there.
Nice little improve.
Yes, making it to the top half of the field there, doing well.
Yeah, and the Browns actually put the Porsche in P11 pretty good. If I remember right from... It depends, I'm a bit behind on BOP, but I'm pretty sure the Porsche is definitely not one of the quickest cars here.
Yeah, from what I remember, like from putting like my lap time of the Porsche around Bathurst, like they were saying that's pretty good time considering the Porsche is not the strongest car here. So that's all the information I'm going off. and
Yep.
I'm not even sure what the meta car is, so to speak.
It's got to be like either, well, sometimes the random cars come out. Like I remember previous years, things like the Honda and stuff were like super quick because they were just all straight line,
Yep, I
or a
remember those.
Lambo and stuff like that. Here we go. We're up actually up
Yeah,
over a
we're up
second
the
here.
whole second there, just watching him as he's coming down Conrod, and he's absolutely firing it through there. Full second down.
There we go. Bang. Up to 6.
Into the two.
Well
Into
done.
the two. It's done well. With
Alright.
just under 3 minutes to go, you only get another 2 laps, so interesting to see how the guys go. Might see a few getting down into the 2-minute straights now that they'll be losing a lot of extra little bit of weight from the fuel.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a little bit too fired up there, Johnston coming through. Hopefully that hasn't done too much to the wheel alignment. But yeah,
Gaining time.
I tell you what, he's up.
Oh, his death. Nice. Moves
Sit
up
up
to
into the
P5.
top 5.
Yeah. I think top 5, top 6, like first 3 rows isn't too bad to a position to be in, but yeah, when you start getting back towards that 10th and stuff, it gets really dangerous because there's so many cars in front of you. All it takes is one person to make a mistake, and it becomes a bit of a chain reaction over the top on the first couple of laps.
Even into the first corner as well. Like, you get mad traffic jams going into the first corner. Like, everyone's going to try and take the inside. You end up going 4 wide, and yeah, it's very, very squeezy coming out of Hell Corner there.
Sure can be. This is actually, yeah, everyone seems to be improving now. You've got Johnston 3/10 up, moving up into 3rd. Nicely done. It's actually really tight. There's just Drea at the front all by themselves, and everyone else is really, really tight. We've got 5/10, well, less than 5/10 from McNeely in 2nd all the way down to 8th place.
yes, isn't that crazy? Man, that one mighty lap there of Leo to be half a second up, and then the next, as I say, the next 7 to be within the same gap as what he's got between 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, just an incredible lap there from Drea. I mean, I've raced against this guy. That was the guy that I was trying to remember. Oh, as we see, Drea makes a big error. It is a curse. I've already got my first curse.
There you go. Welcome to the commentary booth.
Yeah, that's it. Well, this is what he's already put in his hot lap.
There we go. Light up the chat. I've already got my first curse.
Oh,
he's
another one.
Oh, Cook there.
Oh,
He's lost a lot of time there, unfortunately. Going through Forest Elbow, a little bit squirmy, and he's lost about 4/10, almost half a second off of that lap.
Good. I don't think the car's good. It didn't look very happy coming out there. He came out of the corner, mid-corner, like mid-track, sorry. There we go. Yeah, he's up. Wonder if he absolutely sends it, knowing he's in 2nd place and probably not going to lose to Johnston. Unless Johnston's... Where is Johnston on the track? I'll figure out where he is. Slightly down on time, so it's not quite there.
and there goes the clock. So this is it. Whatever he can pull out now, all bars out. It just absolutely send it.
Cook doesn't improve, stays P8. No. Again, oh, lost a fair bit of time coming down the hill. I missed what happened. I didn't really spot anything too major. I was looking at the timesheet. Is he just giving up? Yeah, he's pulling over.
Yeah, pulling over.
Here comes Death. Another 2/10 up. So still finding time.
Yeah.
And with the way that Death is tracking, she could possibly be in for a front row start here. Gets through there cleanly.
Oh wow, big
It's a
game.
lot better through the dipper there, isn't it?
That's really nice. And gets a better exit as well. This is looking good. This is looking really good.
Depending on Death's race pace, this could be a massive, massive lap for you know, Death's chances to take out this one and possibly mount a challenge to Drea.
Possibly, because Death's Death is really good in the race. That's why I was saying before, like, she is just consistent and super, super quick. Like, puts out times over and over and over, like within half a tenth to a tenth of each other, lap after lap after lap, up 4/10 almost. Oh, just loses a little bit across the line. 3rd place. Wow.
Yep. That's great being able to make your way up another couple of rows. That'll help her out incredibly, being on that inside for the first corner.
I was just about to mention being on the inside is a huge advantage for turn 1, especially at Mount Panorama. That outside is a bit of the Wild West right there.
Alrighty, looks the grid. Unfortunately, it's a little bit smaller, lighter numbers today, but again, Bathurst is one of those tracks that scares away the best of them. So it's going to be an exciting race though, because of how tight those front few cars are. I'm really excited to see how this pans out. So 1 hour race, 2 stops, 2 minutes to go before we get our rolling lap. And we're going to take like funsy bets. Who are you going to pick someone to go? Are we all going to go Drea and say just walks away with it, or was that sort of a qualifying pace thing?
Well, I mean, as I was saying, I had to say before, with the the last enduro, I was fighting with Drea in silver class, and let me tell you, he is dynamite, absolutely quick as anything. So you know, the fact that we even won silver class was a bit of a fluke, not gonna lie, because this guy is wicked quick. So my prediction 100% is going to Drea.
What about you, Brad?
I'm going to go with Death on this one. I think that pulling out and being able to come second on the inside run of that first corner, if she can hold that, keep the pressure on Drea, keep the pressure on him, with her consistency, I think she will be still very hard to beat, even though she might have still been not as quick, not pole obviously, but looking at some of these liveries, isn't it?
Like the meme car?
The Doge car.
There's always one or two absolutely horrifically beautiful. Like, they're horrifically beautiful.
Yeah. That's it. So, but yes, if I had to put the money down, I reckon I'd be going back with Death herself.
Yeah, I'm excited to see McNeely. They had a fantastic showing last weekend. I wonder if they can. They seem to be one of the only Lambos running around in either class, so I'd love to see them do well. So I will just pick. I'll split the difference and I'll go McNeely, because I was really impressed with McNeely last week, and I'm hoping it's their weekend. I'd love to see them pump it off as we leave the grid for our warm-up lap.
And we just got to remember too, Bathurst is a race of attrition, so keeping it out of the barriers will do a long way in getting yourself to the, not for 1, the finish, and 2, finishing highly.
That's it. What's the out of the 16? What do you reckon? The bottom 5, bottom 4 pulling in early, trying to get some clean air. Top 5, top 8 punching through.
It really depends. I'm trying to think who seems out of position. I think Chris Cooley might be a little bit out of position. I mean, maybe the Aston's not very fast here. Possibly one of the Maccas might want to pit early as well. It's sort of if you feel you're out of position and you're going to be getting held up. Because if you're going to pit and not go fast than everyone, it's almost pointless. But if you know you didn't qualify as well, and you're going to be able to charge up the field by the easy way, by not having to pass people, surely someone might do it. It really depends. It probably depends if someone gets a bad start and gets shuffled back a bit, which can happen at Bathurst. If you get caught in a slow train or out wide or something like that, it can be really, really awkward, and you can end up a long way, you know, like you can end up in the middle of the pack from like 5th position. So maybe we'll see someone do it there. We have seen drivers doing that quite a bit, actually. If I remember right, last weekend we had a driver on the front row have a little touch and end up on the grass and then go, you know what, I'm in 5th now, I might as well jump in the pits, come back out, and they were back in 2nd place by the time the first pit stops rolled around, because they'd gained that much time by their not being in the battle pack that were fighting.
Yeah, getting clean air is very underrated, especially at a track like Bathurst. You know, across the top is a bit of a one-way street when it comes to battling here. So yeah, getting that clean air is a massive advantage.
Would you like to take us away, Daniel, when we come across the line?
Why not? I'll give it a crack.
That's good. I'm gonna welcome you to the commentary box.
That's it.
With a bit of action. You've already got your first curse out of the way. Might as well curse a good start as well.
Well, let's take bets, fellas. Are we gonna get a first lap incident? Oh, sorry, first corner incident, I should say.
I think someone's going to slap the wall pretty hard up the mountain, but I don't know if we'll end up with the safety car worthy one. There is 15 cars, 16 cars, sorry. So if it was 26, I'd say most likely, almost definitely.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yep.
As all the cars are starting to getting their tires warmed up, their brakes have warmed up now, so they're getting ready and primed to make the start here as they round the final corner. It is Dreyer who takes P1, who takes the start. McNeely on the outside, Death following close behind. To wait for the green flag.
Green light, go.
And it is lights out and away we go, and Dreyer gets an even start there with McNeil as they fly into turn 1. There's been a bit of a collision there, and McNeely is off. Same with Death. And Cooley's off on the outside there, but other than that, it is a relatively clean start. Other than McNeely, which I believe Death has actually lifted in the throttle to let McNeely back through. And as they go too wide there, Johnston looking in the back, having a go. Was that someone going wide a little bit there? But honestly, very, very good job from the Pro-Ams. Even very clean start, and looks like Dreyer's just rocketed away here.
Isn't it amazing, that little bit of extra fresh air, and all of a sudden, out just over a second already, and he hasn't even made it to the top of the hill yet. That's absolutely fantastic start there by Leo.
So Johnson's got an absolute ripper start there, benefiting from Death and McNeely coming together. McNeely all the way down to P6, losing 4 positions off the start. Sorry, make that 5. No, 4. I can math. Yeah, unfortunately, Death and it seemed to be just 2 into 1 didn't go. I don't think there'll be any penalties handed out there, but the stewards will be all over that if they need to apply anything. Might just be a slap on the wrist. It looks like, though, we've got he's moved up 1 McNeely, so that's good for him as he's coming through. We've got Sasha right under Johnson's tail here. Probably wants to try and get past, but again, the speed of the Macca at the straight line is just hard to beat here. Chat shouting out the one-wing Maccas, zooming along.
As we see Death gets right up and close to the McLaren's gearbox there. And, well, there we go. Fastest lap for Leo Dreyer, obviously, with taking that first lap lead there. But as we see, Cooley's pulling out. He's going to try and make a move there on Cook. And nothing doing.
Nothing doing. He would be so fired up.
I'm just loving the team name. I am here for the memes. Absolutely great stuff there from Cooley there. And as we see, is he going to go for a move? Nothing doing.
All seem to be filing through reasonably nice. Whoa.
Oh, that's close. The wall, I think, was that McNeely touching the wall there? It looked like it.
That was very close to a touch.
Oh,
Time again.
I think so.
Tell you what, there's only cigarette paper between a bit of carbon fiber and a massive concrete wall there. So they're leaving absolutely nothing on the table, these guys, and to think they're pro-ams, like these guys, I reckon they mix it in with the pros.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Goodness.
Oh,
Can we
he is
jump?
taking the absolute. Oh,
Can we jump on board with McNeely over the top next lap?
Yeah.
I just want to see just how close it looks from their perspective, because every single wall, it felt like they were driving like I would drive a Mini Cooper over the top. You know, like that's how close I feel comfortable getting to the walls. But then all of a sudden they're like in a Lambo that's twice as wide, so they're literally flirting with touching the wall. It's the big dive. Oh no!
There's a bit of contact there. Death goes around. McNeely has to take the escape road there. And unfortunately, Johnson and Death getting into each other there. That's going to send both of them right to the back of the pack as Drea, you know, rubs salt into the wounds for those two with the fastest lap already.
Death's tumbling down the order now. Third last on the track, I believe. Yeah, fourth last, sorry.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I'm sure Glenn will take us back to that one, but I thought she was right up the side of there. I thought she had it, but yeah, interesting to see what the replay's going to look like.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate when two of the better drivers in the class have it come together. But yes, sometimes fighting over positions, these things happen. I'm sure it was nothing malicious. It didn't look malicious at all. It was just pretty much, again, a 2-into-1 doesn't fit as they fought for the apex. But Drea out in front, nearly 6 seconds ahead, saying thank you very much for arguing and fighting behind me. I'll just keep driving my pace. They could pretty much put it in cruise control and bring it home from here.
I reckon you're pretty well spot on there with that one. What's that, almost 6 seconds now. That's a huge weight off Leo's shoulders there. Just now being able to keep it nice and clean and consistent. No pressure from anyone straight up him. Rightio, here we go. What have you got for us, Dan?
Rio coming down the inside, and it looks like she's got the move done, and they just turn in, and that is an unfortunate coming together there. Death was kind of pressed up on that curb there, and there was yeah, well, was she alongside? I can't really judge that.
Are we able to get a chopper cam? Oh, that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see. Oh, it's like kind of there. They just sort of trip over each other too, and the Audi ends up probably wearing some damage too, running into the side of Death. So, unfortunate, pretty much street drivers race is going to be affected from that one incident.
Well, there's already a steward's decision there, a 10-second penalty for Sasha Death there.
Yeah, obviously they feel she didn't get far enough up the inside to commit to the move, and then therefore it was her fault. That's what I think that ruling was. So, well done to the officials for doing that really quick, and she'll be able to serve that in her next pit stop and try and drive through. But she's definitely probably thinking about serving her pit stop and penalty right now so she can have some clean air and power on through.
That's it. Trying to make up the any little bit of deficit that she can.
By the way, Chris Curley has gone from P10 up to P4. That is some moving forwards. I think it's P10. Or was it further back than that?
I believe it was P11 actually. But yeah. Cooley there doing an absolute madness in the V12 Aston there.
This is cool. Well done, Chris. Like, I'm super impressed. Chris has been impressing me a lot this whole season, and this is just more hats off. Just managing to have really good race awareness. Doesn't quite have the ultimate pace. Again, might be because of car choice, but race pace and consistency is such a crucial thing when you're racing, especially at a track like Bathurst. They're only 4/10 off the back of McNeely here, so getting total on by one of the front runners, or one of the fastest cars, personally qualified P2. This is probably a good place to sit.
That's it, and I'm just gonna I've already made a bit of a blunder in the commentary. That 10-second penalty is most likely for Death's turn 1 incident, lap 1.
Oh,
So,
turn 1. My bad, yeah.
So, yeah, that just kind of slipped my mind. Lap 1 just feels so long ago now, and yeah, that incident in between Death and Johnston there will be looked into, and further penalties could be on the way for Death.
There's a new fastest lap has just been set. So Drea is just bumping along, setting these times, and so Chris is actually sitting in the low 2-minute ones, which is a pretty decent race pace. And again, no threat of losing any positions at that sort of pace. But I mean, Drea's out front, just setting fastest lap after fastest lap as they get into a groove. So it's, I think, I might be calling it a little bit early, but that feels like that's going to be very hard when you qualified half a second up on the whole field.
Absolutely, and Drea is just kind of giving us the Max Verstappen experience right now.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Interesting just to keep an eye on Chris here. He's very close. He's just looking a little bit squirmy in a couple of the corners, like it's balanced, but he still looks like he's fighting the Aston just a little bit. But doing very well to keep on the back of McNally there, though.
Yeah, that's right. And I didn't point out at the start of the race that the track is optimal and it's 30 degrees. That's something that a lot of the super nerds want to know about. They want to know what's the track like, how's it looking, how's it feeling. So we're going to be seeing some pretty fast pace. The only thing we could ask for is maybe a little bit cooler. We've got 0 km/h wind as well, which will be helping. Because here, if you get any wind, it hurts you quite a bit because you're either getting a push down one straight and a big drag up the other straight, or the other way around. And a side wind also isn't good either. So it's cool to see it at 0.
It's the true pace of the car then.
That's it. As we see a fastest lap for George Cook now. He's sitting in P5, just tucked up behind Chris Cooley there, and tucked up behind McNeil there is Cooley there, and it looks like Cooley's going to have a go around the outside. He gets a way better exit there, and P3 is Chris Cooley there. So. Wow. Big exit out of Hell Corner there, and yeah, Cooley in the podium.
That's crazy. I think McNally might be carrying a little bit of damage from that turn 1 because they're just not showing the pace they've. It's gone dark, unfortunately.
I know we've gone dark. Yeah. I was just looking. Yeah, the Lambo ran a bit wide there at Hell Corner.
Ah, yes. This, so glad we've lost video feed. Yeah. No worries. It's, we'll give you the few second delay. Actually, we've actually had someone come off down into the dipper.
I believe that was Drea. Drea's off.
Oh,
wow,
no.
And that's a big slide there from Piper. Sorry, we're getting a bit of a delayed feed here, but every driver, they must have been, I know, probably not an oil slick, but yeah, we see a bunch of drivers. Drea is still not gone.
Are we going to see Chris Cooley win this race? Is that what we're going to see? Because it's feeling that way. It's feeling that way.
Oh no!
All the favourites are coming to a cropper. So did he return to pits as well? Is that what we saw? Or no, they got going.
Drea has kept going. He's tucked up behind Foxtrot there, and all of our predictions are just completely going out the window here. They're all having nightmare races.
Wow, I mean that's Bathurst. You know, it's anyone can make mistakes. That's right. So we're going to try and come from a little bit behind here until we manage to get our vision up and going.
Yeah, as we can see, Death and Drea have decided to take the early pit stop here. Death choosing to take her 10-second penalty right there and then. And well, the top two drivers, you could argue, for the for this race are now on very alternate strategies. They will be hoping and praying for a safety car.
Yeah, which is probably pretty unlikely at this point in OOR. There has to be something catastrophically go wrong, and everyone would have to end up in it for it to happen. It's we generally only have them on the first lap. But man, Chris is 1.8 off the front, and I'm starting to think, did Drea suffer that the brain fade that you get when you don't have pressure? You know, you're just going on a Sunday drive, and therefore you just, you know, you're not thinking 100%, but sometimes when you've got someone right up behind you, you're focused 110%, you pull out your fastest lap every lap, but maybe just having the lack of pressure there into an unforced error. Like, that's all that was, all by themselves, unfortunately. Now, this is opened it wide up.
Yeah, you see that quite more often than not. You see cars running in, you know, their own air, like by themselves, and yeah, it's almost like they're taking every corner for granted, thinking I can push a little bit more, I can brake later. You're always trying to challenge yourself, and then you take that one step a little too far, and you find yourself in the barriers by yourself, all by yourself, and you're thinking, did I really just do that?
I can't believe Chris Killy is just pulled away from McNeely like McNeely must have some damage. That's got to be the answer, because that's probably why 10 seconds was handed out, considering it wasn't too much of a nudge into turn one. It must have really, caused some damage. Oh, a little wiggle there by Chris. Chris is really putting the hammer down, trying to do the overcut here, as we just saw Piper pit, and Piper might have some damage worth repairing as well. So who knows how long they'll lose in their pit stop, as they did collect the spinning death. So
that's it. Did the little dodgem cars between the two of them early on. The Audi had done very well to actually still be pointing the straightaway without too much damage. Be interesting to see whether or not that how long the Audi is actually in the pits for any possible extra repairs.
And what did I say, fellas, at the start of the program? It is going to be a race of attrition, and we have certainly seen that in this race. A lot of the big players here falling victim to the mountain, and you know, it's thrown up a would you say this is a surprise to see Cooley from P11 all the way up to the top?
We've got another one spun out, and return to pits too. I think that was the number 6 of Foxtrot. Yeah, there was that looked to be around the dipper, same spot as where Drea had their incident. Yep, that's a return to pits. So one of the further back markers, but again, so far forward because of all the mistakes that all the other drivers were making. We are definitely seeing a lot of death going on, says Swampy Butts.
Oh well, I like the team name of this one. It's Daneth the Man. Dan the Man Racing. What a name. What a name.
Yeah, maybe the race will settle down a little bit here, as we've got drivers sort of half have pitted, half haven't. People have repaired some damage, had an incident or two, and people are setting in to groove and trying to pump out some good laps. And it looks like Chris is pulling away quite a bit. 3 seconds to lead now on McNeely. Reminder that Piper is probably in first place, depending on how fast Chris is going.
Well, he seems to be pulling away from McNeely here, so I'd say Cooley has got a very, very steady pace, and well, we'll only find out when Cooley decides to go for a change of tyres, maybe a splash of fuel, a little bit of a drink, and yeah, we'll see where he ends up with taking that early pit stop, getting the fresh boots on real quick, and hoping that the undercut works a treat here.
I'm just going to jump in, guys. We've started with Discord communications between the booth and broadcast. We're going to leave the stream running. The video is going to keep going for the YouTube viewers, but we're going to cut the commentary for about 60 seconds and then we'll be back.
Copy that.
So guys,
Okay.
we just need to
No worries. Catch you guys soon.
Gotcha.
at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
All right, and welcome back, stream. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We have missed almost half the race there, and just pick up from what we see now. We've got Cooley in the lead here. We've got Piper and McNeil in the pits, and same with George Cook. All those takers for the pits right now, and yeah, 20 minutes to go. It's honestly open slather for all drivers in the top 5, really.
Yeah, we were having fun bantering about seeing Sasha Death like flying through the field all the way up to 6th position. Once the pit stops have rolled out, we believe that's about where she is. Chris Kearley only 2 seconds behind the leaders, which is absolutely awesome. But Chris Kearley was only 2 seconds behind Piper, who was in the lead. They were on a chase, but again, really not gaining or losing that much that whole last pit stop. It was about 3 seconds when they first pitted and only pulling it down to about 2, although this overcut might be quite powerful.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. As Cooley thinking of a pit stop, he is going to go for a pit stop here, so we will we'll see where Cooley ends up. We'll see if Piper has the lead. We'll see if McNeil can chase down these two, and starting P2 and getting involved in a few incidents, McNeil has made a very, very solid recovery now.
That's it. And here we go on Piper, so this will be very interesting. Coming down the back straight, see how that goes timing wise with him and Cooley. He's very, very close. He was about a second up from Cooley as he came into the pits the couple laps earlier, so it will be right on the coming out the other end. It'll be a drag race up Mountain Straight, I reckon.
McNeil's still in this as well, so looking pretty fast, and got the fastest man on track right behind him as with Cook. Here goes Piper. So Chris is moving.
Oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, this is going to be tight. No,
it's edges out ahead though, so yeah, and just remember.
Yep, McNelly. Where's he going to come out? He's already got warm tyres.
That is who's McNeil come out behind?
I believe Steele.
I think so.
Yeah, it was one of the lower cars, I thought.
That's looking like it's going to be a bit of a battle. It's a freeway battle.
Freeway battle.
Yeah, for 3rd, 4th, and 5th for the minor placings.
If we could get that battle on screen, that would be great. As McNeil there on.
Here we go.
On warm tires, we got Steele trying his best on colder tires, and a little bit of a wiggle out there, and it's a big one.
Oh, big one.
Oh. And
Yeah.
that's the second curse. There we go.
Just pushing so hard to try and keep that little bit of a gap there. Cold tyres is not quite up to it, especially over top of Skyline there. You're really loading up the outside, and yep, unfortunately, hopefully that hasn't done too much to the car or the steering, and he's able to try and hold on to the back end of this little three-way battle there.
He's done. I don't know how he's gotten away with that, to be honest. It looked like he slapped that wall extremely hard. That was like, I was about to say, he's done such a good job to get all the way up into P3 after, doing the overcut there to jump McNeely on track. And then, yeah, that was just cold tyres a little bit too hard, asking too much, just understeered wide off over the curb. And that curb is horribly scary in real life and in the video game. It's it can end your race real fast.
Yeah, well, I was just looking back at the stream replay, and yeah, just a chunk of understeer from Steele there, and yeah, that's all it takes, I guess. Especially at a fast part of the track like McPhillamy, you're easily doing 210 clicks on entry into that corner. So, yeah, very little margin for error, and fortunately, it's just come up short.
Yeah, it's actually not looking too bad again. Seems to be looking like he's got a bit of pace. So I think we might be seeing the chase down attempt anyway. We'll see how well it hangs on as he pushes to the limit again. Hopefully not over anymore.
Last 15 minutes, you'd definitely be thinking it's going to be a big ask to try and catch up to the two in front of him.
And also, after the pit stop, it appears to have been it's pretty much a perfect 3-second gap between everyone. 2.9, 2.9, 2.9 for first, second, and third, and fourth, positions. The gaps between them all. It's looking a bit robotic there, actually. When it's that close. And it's starting to drop a little bit now for Cooley. But again, really got to pull in. Probably, half a second a lap at least.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting notifications that our Discord stream is back, so
Alrighty,
we might lose comms for half a second as we jump across to there. Alrighty, we're back again. Thank you, Discord. Unfortunately, apparently it was a global thing and it wasn't just us. And we've got our beautiful Discord stream back up and running. In fact, it looks better than it did before, so I'm very happy. Maybe they did an update. Yeah.
Behind the scenes, just put the cables in, put the wires in where they should be, running through 4 different apps, and keeping the stream running smoothly, and we're just 3 idiots just shouting into mics, so we can't really do much there. But yeah, Glenn, absolutely mega job there. So back into Discord and back into the last 12.5 minutes of this race.
Yeah, and we've got all the gremlins out before the Pro Series. That's what it's for.
Exactly. This is just a taster of what we're offering here.
Alrighty, Brad. So you got any thoughts, Brad, on how the race has panned out so far?
Well, I think we've all definitely made the commentator's curse of outside of you, Justin. You're actually, your call is still on the podium at the moment, so we might have to almost give up or try and do something a little bit different before we come back and make a call on who's going to make it to the top. I must say, Piper keeping his nose clean in amongst all the chaos that was happening there. I don't think you could have said it any better there again, Dan. It's all about attrition, keeping your nose clean, gets you to the front. So, and Cooley coming up from the outside of the top 10 to being well and truly pushing hard in that second position in the Aston. Wow.
Cooley's looking like they're going to win this. They've pulled in 1.5 seconds in the last lap.
Yeah.
So this is looking dangerous.
That's it. 11 minutes to go. I reckon.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think he's definitely not leaving anything left. Taking it all to the corner.
No. Can we get him on board there, Glenn? I'd love to see Chris over the top. We watched a few times. He looks very, very much a handful. He's having moments and pushes and slides. Let's see how much opposite lock we end up using here. A bit of understeer, but that's to be expected for Cooley. Nice, lots of curb. Looks very comfortable. Looks fast. Hard through here. That's nicely pushed the car. Really, just happy dancing it around a little bit. That looks smooth. Looks fast.
Yeah, I mean, he seems very comfortable with having a car that's very on the nose here. Going through Forest Elbow, keeps it nice and planted to the inside of that into the inside wall there and sets himself up very nicely for Conrad straight here. And we'll just check the splits. Has he gained a little bit? He has gained 3/10 in that sector alone down the mountain. So definitely the V12 working treat down the mountain. As for a second I thought he almost had a lock up there or something, but he gets it done into the chase. Coming around the final corner, we will see the splits, and this is a very, very tidy lap here from Cooley. And he is gaining by, that was almost just over half a second with those 2 sectors alone. He is on an absolute tear.
We might be in for a big battle for the last couple of minutes of this race. This is exciting. But I think I pointed out at the start, like, Chris is someone that probably is a little bit out of position. The fact that he finished second a few weekends ago. But this is to come from 11th from where he was, and to avoid all those little incidences we had. We had cars across the track, we've had people hitting walls, we've had all sorts going on, and this has continuously kept the nose clean. As Dreyer actually sets the fastest lap of the race, says I'm not completely out of it, although 35 seconds behind. Is that 35 seconds? I think it is. Or is that 15?
Roundabouts.
Yeah, it's too much. You'd have to be doing 58s to be catching anyone at the gap that he has to Cook. So Cook was also the second fastest person on track. Curley's taken another 3/10s coming up the mountain, so pulling almost a second every single lap by the looks of it. Flying down the hill, it just looks so good. It's just doing everything that Curley's wanting it to do, just pointing it so nicely, beautifully smooth. Suggestions on where the car wants to go.
Well, all I can say to Cooley is just let him cook. He is cooking all right.
That is true.
Amazing how looking at him in that first probably 10-15 minutes, I remember looking, going, oh, their car just looks really really edgy. The back end didn't look real stable at all, and all that. But as we're watching these last kind of 2 or 3 laps, it's just the car and the mountains have really come to him. It's the very little oversteer, understeer, not twitching. He's really, really in a good groove here.
Yeah, driving very smoothly. Obviously having quite a bit of front edge set up again with what was that last lap? A 2-minute 1 flat.
Right, yep.
Again.
Just
under the 1 second mark.
Chris, I had a couple of chats, or a little chat with Chris earlier, and he said to me he was pleased to be racing tonight, but he figured he'd only last 10 laps because the mountain always stings him. So he's lasted a bit more than 10 laps.
That's amazing that he's done this. Like, I'm super impressed. I'm just hoping to bring it home, even if it is only second place. But look at this, he wants the win. He's got the carrot right there in front. So will he have the straight line speed to get past that Audi? If I remember right, the Audis are pretty quick in a straight line.
Absolutely, that Audi is very, very slippy in a straight line.
And, I wonder if Chris is actually running a bit of wing, possibly why he's so quick over the top. This is like just hand over fist catching. He did make a mistake at Forest Elbow last lap, which cost him a little bit of time, but yeah, we are going to be on for a race for the front two here.
Let me tell you, we are set for a grandstand finish. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This will be an absolute cliffhanger.
Absolutely right to the dying second, mate. I reckon there will be absolutely not even a bumper bar in it coming around that last corner. The way that these two are going, absolute action pack.
Yeah, we're definitely within slipstream range now, so we're going to start seeing the effects of a little bit of aero wash, but also that big toe down these massive straights. There's three. Well, even the main straights are pretty decent straight, but there's Conrad and like pretty much two of Australia's biggest straights on this track. So it's this gap is going to keep shrinking. That's it. It's 0.5 now. Again, it's just watching that number tick down. And Piper's still driving well. Piper's still driving very cleanly. No unforced errors we've seen yet. So it appears that they're not overextending due to the pressure, but Keely's definitely going to be in for a fight here. I wonder where they're going to be able to get it done, though.
Well, I will say, as long as Piper can keep it clean in the corners, I believe that straight line speed will be a huge advantage. Coming down the straights, or even like up through the mountain as well, where it's flat, it is a massive advantage to have that straight line speed, especially during the race.
Yep, absolutely. Up.
Oh, yoy.
Just pushing that a little bit too hard there. Losing. Let's have a look at the split, see if that's taken too much out of his time there.
I think that was definitely a touch, wasn't it? That it wasn't just me. I thought it's not just close. That was a touch, yeah.
I reckon so.
The only thing that I think ACC doesn't do is concrete stripes up the side of your car. Out of men.
As we see, he is just getting a little bit of slipstream here from the Audi in front. As we will check the gap, he's lost maybe a 1/10.5 going down the mountain there. Well, definitely I'd say from that little slap of the wall. But look at him get that margin back, going down the chase. And yeah, this Aston very, very comfortable under brakes.
Yeah, it's just he's feeling super comfortable and confident in that first half of the corner. Probably even diving a little bit deep. He's sort of not getting the run off that the Audi is getting. The Audi's driving sort of a slower in, faster outline. As again, I think he just misses the apex there, and then the Audi walks away on the exit. But that tends to be how Chris is getting the pace out of this car. Really just like 110% on the way into every corner. Again, it's down to 4.5 tenths again, so let's see if Chris can remember that it's going to be a little bit slidier up under the car in front. Oh, well, it looks like we might even get some lap traffic. Hopefully this doesn't come into play, as there's a car not too far up the road here.
Well, I reckon Cooley just has to bide his time here. He's going to be getting a lot of dirty air from the Audi in front, so he really just has to pick his moment. He'll maybe only get 1 or 2 shots at getting the lead here. He is leaving absolutely nothing on the table there. Going through the grate and going down Skyline here. He's just absolutely glued to the back of this Audi.
Just pulling half a tenth or so out of every little opportunity you can. Just seems to just like pull in a half a car, pull in another car. Look at this under brakes again. Getting a decent exit this time actually, and right up under the bumper.
This is well and truly in slipstream territory here. So I am heavily expecting a move as coming into the chase. Cooley's gonna have a look. He might dart to the inside here. Going into the chase, and he holds off, backs off, and he's going to try once again the next lap, or maybe he's going to try something here around the outside. Maybe it's a bold call, switch to the inside, Shane Van Gisbergen-esque. He's a bit out of control here, and well, that was a very, very heart-stopping bit of action there. Wowee.
He couldn't decide which way he wanted to go. It was Piper sending it just down the middle of the track, and Chris looking left, right, grass, and we have actually hit the last lap now. So this is it. Chris has got to do it, but Piper has driven perfectly, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just stuck to the tee, kept doing the same lap times. It's all up to Chris now.
One more lap to go, ladies and gentlemen, and Cooley is darting right. He's darting left, and Piper goes just a little bit wide, and that's gonna give Cooley a mega run up around around Quarry and going up towards the grate. Cooley is just inching ever so closer to that Audi. Audi gets nice and close. Both drivers at their absolute limits. Through McPhillamy, so we cut down the mountain. Going down the dipper, and both cars line astern, nothing in between them. Around Forest Elbow for the last time. And Cooley, the back end, he's got to be in slipstream. He's got to be in slipstream now, maybe a little bit further back than he was a lap ago. So Piper might have this one in the bag.
Yeah, it's looking unlikely here unless some serious gap closing happens through the chase. Well, this is probably the way it's going to be, I think. But again, really quick. Curly's certainly gets a big crust up on the exit.
It's a little bit crossed up.
That's got to be it. But Chris waving, still happy, I'd say, considering he thought he was going to beat it within 10 laps.
And as we see Benjamin Piper crossing the line to take the win, Cooley close behind P2. Absolutely, we haven't even talked about driver of the day here, but it has to be Cooley. P11 to P2. What an absolute barnstorming drive there. McNeil rounds out the podium. Jack Steele with 4th, and George Cook a long way away behind. Will round out the top 5. Very good showing from the international driver there.
Yeah, fantastic job. And Dreyer, good recovery considering got unfortunately a little bit stitched up due to his own mistake, but still showing he was very pacey. He's setting the fastest lap, so still getting a bonus point, some bonus points there. Cubby crossed the line in P6, so good recovery considering they were in the wall. Sends it in the wall with celebration.
Yeah.
Oh, I always love the shenanigans after an ACC race.
Yeah.
So,
doing some
after Treya, it was Johnson, Death, and is that Bennett? No, Bennettson, sorry. I can't. Oh, for some reason,
yeah.
my stream went extremely blurry there.
Bennettson
and Brown.
Right, rounding out the top 10.
That's the way.
And McNeely's still going crazy in the background. Look at him.
Yep. McNeely's obviously pretty happy with how they've got. McNeil, I think, maybe disappointed.
Yes. Jake Brown taking the alternate line through the chase there, and well, very beautiful pirouette there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this race has not gone to plan for Jake Brown, but does round out the top 10, and most importantly, does finish the race.
Yeah, that was good. Now we had some cars fairway down. So hang around, chat. That's been the Pro-Am. It's been Daniel and Brad and myself, Justin, in the commentary box. Glenn pushing the buttons. We'll be back in a few minutes with Pro qualifying. So stick around, everyone. Enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you very soon. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the pro drivers now. So we are here with the Australian Motorsport GT3 Simagic Cup, brought to you by Octane Online Racing. Again, I am Justin. We've got Daniel and Brad. Daniel, have you calmed down from that last race?
Oh, I don't know. I think the heart rate's still a little bit up. That was an absolutely amazing finish between the two Pro-Am drivers there. I mean, I was running out of breath right at the end. What a finish. And again, still my driver of the day, Chris Cooley there, or driver of the race I should say, Chris Cooley, P11 to P2, and just not getting the win off of Piper there. That was something, you know, worth the entry fee. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they made our job easy, put it that way. What about you, Brad? You've recovered?
Oh, I definitely had to walk that one off, and I wasn't even in the driver's seat. I guarantee Piper would definitely have the sweats up after that one. Doing very well, holding off a very adventuresome number 2. But here we go again. Here's the pros, hey? What an incredible lineup we've got here, mate. Absolute incredible lineup. How's the standings?
So this is the current standings. We've got Pip. Everyone calls her Pip or Philippa. Nikita. She has been a little bit ahead, not absolutely miles ahead, but driving exceptionally well. Zachary Smith has been giving her a really good run for her money. It looked like Dylan Tan was going to be untouchable at that first race we had, but falling back a little bit into the field, making a few little mistakes in a couple of races there too. And but last weekend we had the craziest amount of racing. We had Samuel and Stephen Ty getting in the mix of it as well. So it really could be anyone's race. Bathurst is one of those tracks where it can be a track that some people just put hundreds of hours into, and other people tend to avoid like the plague. So you never really know. So we are about to start getting our first laps through, as we have Mitch Hobbs leading the way in qualifying. As per usual, he loves getting out there early. We've actually got someone that's put it in the wall at the cutting, I think that was. So they've reset back the pits. I'm not sure who that was. Was it Strelnikov? I think it was Strelnikov.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like it. They've just gone to pits now.
So a little bit unfortunate there to not get set on their first lap. But again, it's Bathurst. You know, instead of running a little bit wide and invalidating your lap, you hit the wall and you have to try again.
That's it. It's called limp back to pits, and good luck.
Yep, long lap too. So you make one mistake here, and it's a long trudge back to the pits, and it's a long trudge to start your lap again.
I always think that it is definitely. Oh, here we go, straight into the 2-minute straights here for Dylan. Looking very aggressive for really the first hot lap, because the guys have some pretty warm tyres by now, so definitely starting to see some 2s. Expecting the 159s. Reckon we'll get down to the 158s with the pros, guys?
Oh, I reckon so. Like, the track is still green, and if this is their first laps out, then, you know, 158s will not be too far away.
And looking at the track temperature there too, 21 degrees, air temperature 19, nice and cool, fresh air. Looking for some pretty good speeds.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be looking for that second stint lap times, because again, with the track being green, will it get to optimum by the end, do you guys think? Or is that a little bit out of the stretch of the game?
Ooh, not really sure, honestly. Like, because normally for the qualifying sessions that I've participated in, I mean, I've only just doing my first season of sprints. The track has really only started on fast, and it would 100% get to optimum, you know, with about maybe 5 minutes to go. But yeah, for green, conditions. I'm not too sure. Maybe someone in chat could enlighten us on the situation.
Yeah, we've got some superstars out there that understand every micron of the game's code and can surely give us a little heads up on whether they think it can get through. I think it could possibly get there, but it really depends. Dylan Tan is just so fast at these power tracks in that BMW, because it was Paul Ricard where he was the fastest, although as Philippa sets the new fastest lap, but Dylan Tan pips her by a couple of hundredths, so we are 400ths apart. That probably means we're at the track's limit of speed at the moment, being green. Again, it might start to tickle its way back to faster as it gets optimum and then more. It seems to be every little step it just keeps getting faster and faster. So Morella is actually probably a little bit out of position here, being that far up the grid, so doing really well in that McLaren. Again, like I said, although Pip's actually already 2/10 up, we're only 4 corners into the track.
Yeah, but it's what you expect as. Was that a little bit of a touch on the outside barrier there? It might have been, as I mean, Bakita literally leaves nothing on the table there. That is inch perfect. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less from Pip, this caliber of driver. So yeah, as making up another 10th down the skyline through the dipper and coming around Forest Elbow. Can she pull it up nicely and get a brilliant exit onto Conrod Straight? A little bit of a wiggle, and does lose maybe a 10th.
Yeah, it's such a brutal corner. You make the tiniest mistake and you just immediately a 10th or more. Like a 10th's a small mistake, as you can see by the end of the straight. So she just started the straight with like a kilometre an hour, maybe 2 down from what she did on her fastest lap. She's got to gain a bit more here under braking, so clearly the track coming her way. Keeps her foot in, didn't invalidate. Play on, says the umpire. Will we get a couple of tenths saved or half a tenth saved in the last corner? Again, yeah, Pip's just improving every single corner. So fastest lap again, takes pole, throws it in the pits, and we'll stick a new set of tyres and go again.
And folks, we are not too far away from 159s. Let me tell you that. The track will keep on improving, and these drivers will keep feeling out the conditions, as we see Hindy here on a improvement on his lap, but will it be enough to... He's tracking to be good enough for 4th here, as we cut to Samuel, who's on a big lap here, 7/10ths up, coming into the chase. That's going to rocket him right up to the top 3 here. If he keeps this under control, he is gaining massive amounts of time.
Can he hold it together last corner? Looking well, nice and clean. Keeps it to the 2nd over. As you said, straight up to 3rd.
Right up into that top 3, and Samuel will be looking to stay there and, possibly even start on the inside, which gives him, as we saw, gives you a massive advantage, I reckon, going into turn 1.
Huge, huge. If you can be on the inside at all in that first kind of 2 or 3 rows, makes a world of difference. Let's see how Tan goes with this BMW. He had the pole there for a second, and it just squeezed him out by a bit over a 10th of a second. Easy going to have enough to stretch the leads through over the top and find that extra few little microseconds here and there.
Well, it all depends. I believe Tan might be on a oh, that was close there. On that inside barrier there, leaving nothing on the table. I believe Tan is on a like their first lap, and a big moment out of McPhillamy is coming down Skyline. That looked very sketchy there, but they gather it up and
yeah.
Surely you just call it quits on it when you're you're down that much, as Rashmut is actually up quite a bit here in the Lamborghini.
Up 2nd there.
almost half a second. They're tracking well for, I believe, P5. As we see them come down into the chase. Lambo's always good on the brakes, and you can see the Delta not moving there. But I would say the next lap is going to be even better, and for all these drivers, you know, their tyres will be getting in the optimum range. So we now cut to Bakita. No, you're right. And we cut to Bakita, and Rashmat puts it in P6, and that top 5 is very close. Top 4 even, separated by 4/10. These guys are finding, you know, time anywhere, I guess, and we see Bakita could be the first one into the 1:59s here.
And Chan's actually someone that's missed a couple of races, so it's good to see Chan back in there and up the front. Pip's looking like she's gaining a little bit of time. I'd say the track is still green. That's my guess. I don't think it's rubbering in, and it's not gonna. It might tick over right at the very end. To yeah, it's still green. It might tick over right at the end of the session to fast, but I don't know. I mean, it's only 12-minute session. If it was the race that we might be getting ultimate, look at her using all the track again and some. That's losing her time. That is losing her time though. So trying a little bit too hard, unfortunately. But will she get into? No, she's not going to quite get into. Oh, it does exactly the same time.
Exactly the same time. And I'm just thinking, like, where are they braking going into the chase? Like, I've seen top esports drivers, they brake near the 100-meter board going into the chase, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Pip and Dylan Dan, these are the type of people that are what we call the top esports people. They can definitely go and represent Australia and take it to the best of them around the world. So I'm whatever these guys and girls are doing, that's what everyone else. That's what the top people are doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I believe Pip did represent Australia in the motorsport games. So yeah, like
go Dylan. Oh, 2 thousandths of a second off of, is that 2,000 or 12? 7. Sorry.
7.
Oh, 7. It was I thought she did it. Yep, I read it wrong. Well
That's
done.
7, I believe, 10 thousandths of a second or something like that. Sorry, thousandths of a second. Sorry, I'm messing up.
Yeah, so tenths, hundredths, then thousandths. The game only goes to thousandths, and that is the smallest of margins. There's the absolute smallest of margins.
That's
Pip's
pretty.
now 2 up.
I reckon that would be that 7/1000th of a second would barely be the thickness of the tread on the tyre. I reckon that would be about the distance between the two of those going across the line.
I mean, if you look at the deltas, it doesn't even register on the delta. That's how close it is. As we see Bakita getting that corner right and gaining at least a 10th there. Coming into the final corner, she is going to be the first one to go into the 59s. And I believe she is tracking for a 1:59.8 here. It's a 1:59.7 straight to the top. 3/10 clear of Tan there. Dylan Tan. And wow, that's going to take some beating with only 30 seconds to go in the session.
That's it. Last chance for all the others. This is it. It's definitely looks like Pip's in the bag. Pulling that one out. 0.3 of a second that's a big margin for these guys. How's Tan? What's he got?
This is going to be his last lap, unfortunately, and it looks like it's might be invalidated, or is that? Oh no, the sector was just, the delta was completely to the neutral there.
He's up a little bit on his own time.
200s.
Right, but still just in the 2 minute.
So, good effort by Dylan. Again, probably not in the optimum car here, but still wanting to enjoy the BMW. I'm noticing a lack of Zach Smith is he not racing this weekend? He might not be.
I
So,
did see him in chat saying thanks. Practice went really well today, all things considered. So hoping to do well tomorrow. I don't believe he is racing.
and Hooley. So is that second and third in the championship, in the Australian Championship?
I believe so.
Wow. So this is a big points advantage for Pip if she can keep it at the front. And Pip's improving again just to rub it in. Or is she going to do the same lap time 2 laps in a row again?
Well, that would be something. It just shows how consistent she is, and that is a 7,000th of a second improvement there. Just solidifies her spot at the top.
Doesn't that just add salt to the wound when you go, I'm already coming in first, but you know what? I'm going to beat my time again. So.
And Luca there in the absolute Chad pick, bringing Godzilla to the mountain, improves to P11, and yeah, honestly, I don't know how he does it, but he just seems to put that Nissan where it should be.
Yeah, he does it week after week, and he's actually been rewarded quite heavily for his consistent and smooth driving. All right, do you want to run us through the lists there, Daniel, as we'll probably do a little flyby down the pits?
Righto, well, these are how the grid's going to be coming off the line. So we got Pip, as consistent as always, P1, with 10 in P2, starting right alongside Pip. Then we got Chan and Rashmat there in 3rd and 4th. Very good showing from Chan. And as you said earlier, Morella doing very, very well for P5 there, like putting that McLaren where it's in a bit of a lofter position, as you would say. There, Justin.
Yeah, he's had quite the qualifying. I think he'll be quite happy with that. Obviously, again, the Macca seems to be quite quick here. The chat again was shouting out the one wing settings.
One wing meta around here, so yeah.
They're fast and straight. And Samuel should be pretty happy with where they are too. So again, once you get past the first 3 rows, that's when it starts to get a little bit dicey, because you never know what you're going to be dodging, or whether you might get a little touch from behind or anything like that, because again, this track just funnels you into multiple corners in a row.
Absolutely. And definitely the rat race going down Mountain Straight, where you'll be getting slipstream off of anyone and everyone, coming 4 wide possibly into turn 1, and then 4 wide again going into Griffin's Bend. So yeah, it's a big task to get through this first lap cleanly, as we're looking at the liveries here. Very good showing, as always, from the pros with the liveries. Some absolutely amazing liveries.
Great shot to those guys.
One thing I'm going to point out, look out for Tafiq coming through. Tafiq is definitely usually a bit further up the field than last place. So we'll keep an eye on kick tabs. Might be the Cooley of this race.
Yeah, if we have another Cooley this race, I don't think I'll be able to, I don't think my heart will be able to survive for the end of this race, as 10 seconds till the formation lap here. Just taking a look at other drivers that are notable drivers that are down in the field to watch for. Possibly Strendakov. I'm just looking for drivers in my split. So Ricciuti, Strendakov, Hignett, and Hindy all doing split green proudly here. And yeah, to even be in the mix with all these pro drivers, borderline, basically esports drivers here, is, you know, something to be proud of.
Definitely. And we've got Pip wings around for the warm-up lap. They're going to do it nice and quick by the looks of it, because it is quite a long lap around. We expect to see the drivers going quite a bit faster than qualifying in the race, by the way, because we are on an optimum track with overcast, so it's going to be very quick out there.
Very quick. That's it. And can you make sure this time around you don't kind of ask us who you reckon we might...
Who am I going to curse this time?
No, I don't think it's that. Having a prediction is not cursing. It's when you say they're doing fantastic and then within 2 corners they crash. That is cursing. That's the true curse. You know, like, or you say, "Gee, we've had such a clean lap 1," and all of a sudden everyone starts crashing. Like, you know,
All of a sudden, just a car park.
Yeah.
But
That is a curse. So picking someone to be your favourite doesn't mean you're cursing them. So I will do it again. Sorry to put you out of the pub, but do you have a favourite here, Brad? Is there someone you're keeping an eye on?
Well, Pip is clearly, well, even coming from the first race with Leo, we definitely know that if you can have your nose through the first couple of corners clean with no one in front of you, and you can have some nice clean air, I think if you can open up a good second or 2 gap at the start, I reckon that'll make a huge amount of difference. So Pip coming out, you know, 0.4 of a second, pretty well in the quali there. I definitely think she's going to be a very hard pass to try and get past her, mate. I definitely reckon she's leading the whole series. She's definitely the one to beat there, mate.
Very good. What about you, Daniel? Do you have a pick?
Well, I mean, Brad's already picked Pip there, so I mean, it's really hard to go past Pip, but you know, just to keep it different, I reckon that that straight line speed that Chan will have with that McLaren will bode very well during the race, even though Chan is starting on the outside of, or maybe the inside.
Inside, yeah.
Inside there, yeah.
So big advantage from.
Inside.
That's the way. So yeah, I'm gonna say Pip's the favourite to win, but Chan is the underdog, being as he hasn't raced the last 3 rounds, so could definitely come out. Or sorry, hasn't raced the last 2 rounds. Definitely could be in for a good showing from Chan. So keep your eyes on them, and also Tafiq down the back as we come around the straight. Brad, do you want to take us away at the start of this one?
Absolutely, mate. So as they're lining up, holding pace, waiting for the green light to go, waiting. Who's going to grab the jump? And here we go. Oh, that was a very good jump there by Tan. They're on the outside, but knowing that. Oh, is he going to squeeze wide? No, he holds it. Does he hold it enough? He's still holding out. I know we're here on Pip. There she is, 3 wide coming up.
3 wide.
How can you even manage that? There's definitely nowhere for the 4th one there. Oh, here we go. Touch and go. Here we go. Up. Oh, is anyone going to get hit there? Are we going to make it clean around? Look at that, 3, 4 wide coming down back through the order. But wow, Chan, how did he manage to keep that thing straight? It's absolutely incredible. What a fantastic couple of corners. Great job from all of the drivers there. At the moment, I'm not going to curse it, but at the moment, making their way through to the top, everyone's managed to stay on the straight and narrow. Let's see how they come. They're coming across Skyline and then down through the dip towards the dipper. Nice and tight, nice and close together. Rashmat did a great job, up a couple there as well. In the Lambo, how they come, is he going to make a move? No, not quite enough there. But Tan, unfortunately, he got that tyre out just onto the grass, coming up Mountain Straight, the poor guy, he's lost a couple of spots from that. See if he can hold on and try and catch up through this little, through the end of the Conrod. How's he going to go?
Well, Tan, sorry.
Yeah, no, you go. No, it's all good.
Well, I was going to say, Tan has got the double slipstream here, and he looked up the inside of Rashmat there, nothing doing. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a battle all through the top 10, honestly, and yeah, but out in front, there we go. Pip just absolutely bossing it, 2.2 seconds ahead already after the first lap.
Pip really figuring out when to put the hammer down. Saw the opportunity happen. Bit of touch and go from behind. Again, elbows were out in that turn one. Chan really wanted to stick it down the inside of Dylan's hand into turn one. Just there's no other way to describe it other than elbows out. There's a little bit of leaning, there's a little bit of bumping, and Rushmart did a fantastic job to slot it up the middle, but again, it was very hairy. It's actually quite a narrow straight, that straight there, up coming up into turn two, up Mountain Straight, and we've got, yeah, a big long train forming behind Chan. It seems to be everyone's doing the same lap times so far, and again, only a lap and a half in, but so the tyres are only just getting into their peak performance about now, as Tan looks really fast across the top. Every time we come across the top here, he is zooming up behind the back of Rushmart.
Isn't it? And we've got Mags. Doesn't look like made it through the first lap too well. Ended up having to go back into the pits there, coming just up Mountain Straight now, so not quite sure what happened there, but that, and there's another one just coming through down the dipper there now. Ignat, Brett, Ben, he obviously must have had something happen there, because he's falling right off the tail end of that the train there too, just coming onto Conrod.
Yeah, I'd say possibly Mags just pitting early to dodge the traffic too. I mean, we do have a big long train here. Every single driver other than Chan is a second away from each other, as Pip starts us off with a first flying lap of a 1:59.9. So there you go. You know, that's straight onto qualifying pace as the tyres are still coming up to temperature.
Absolutely insane pace by Pip there, like straight away into her quali pace, and it's only going to get faster from here.
Yep, look at that, 2 laps down in 2.8 seconds, almost 3 seconds out after just 2 laps. Absolutely flying. Amazing having that great clean air.
So we take a look for the replay here. There's a bit of a coming together. That's Hignett, I believe. Big moment coming out of coming into McPhillamy there. Gets it spun around a bit too much, and eventually gets the right way. But a huge moment. I'm surprised he kept it out of the wall there.
I was going to say, it could have been a lot worse there. We've seen many horror stories there in online racing and in real life, so very lucky just to end up in the gravel there and without a fistful of damage.
Isn't it?
Tan getting a little bit crossed up there out of the dipper there, and losing a bit of time on the cars in front. Seems like Rushmart's got a pretty good run here, but Chan is just untouchable down the straight by the seams of it. I think everyone else might be running a little bit of wing to keep it stable over the top, because they're just sitting in this draft and not closing at all.
At all. It's just sitting there, isn't it? How's the battle there for the top end of the top 10? Right through, that train is just it's getting longer.
Yeah, well, it just seems as though if you can stick to the back of Chan there, you are in with a chance of maybe Chan making a mistake and costing him valuable seconds and just scooping up second.
So now that the race is sort of flattened out a little bit, Pip appears to only be a couple of tenths faster, because Dylan Tan just did a 2-minute flat and Pip did a 59.89, I think it was, or 88. So only really 2 tenths up the road, 1.5 up the road. Dylan is also in some dirty air here, so possibly could be faster if he was out in front, but he's going to sit in behind. We've got our international train here coming along, showing the Aussies how it's done.
Absolutely, and I wonder if Tan will be thinking of an undercut here, getting into some clean air, and that way he'll be able to put out the lap times, the potential lap times that he could be achieving.
That's true. As We've got some happy fans screaming in chat. Good to see you here, Jan. We love seeing you here supporting your favourite drivers. It's a lovely community of people we have here. We've got nans, we've got aunts, we've got grands, we've got granddads. We've got friends and family watching. We love it.
That's it. They're all there supporting their friends and families. It's great to see. Great to see.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And we've just, we've had confirmation from pit lane that the lap 1 pit of Mags was strategy. So look for Mags to be zooming along up there. And Strelnikov's actually pitted as well now. So yeah, we're starting to see a few people trying different strategies to not be caught in this massive train as Pip goes a bit faster again this lap. I managed to catch Dylan's time this lap, but this train is looking mighty fast as well as they're starting to pull away from Morella in P5.
Yep, definitely starting to open up a bit of a gap there between them and Kale and then Samuel. But after Samuel, he's got a couple there. Obviously, Hobbs is right sniffing up the backside of his exhaust pipe too. Back down there, 7 and 8. It'll be an interesting little battle to see how they're travelling.
That's right. So one thing that a lot of people don't understand is actually just how hard it is to drive how close Dylan Tan is here. So you'll do a whole bunch of practice. You'll have a nice clear vision of where you can see. You can spot all your braking points, your apexes, and everything looks so much different when you've got a car or two right in front of you and you're constantly adjusting. It's very easy to make a small mistake because, again, you can't quite see your braking markers, you can't quite see the lines. It's quite daunting to drive this close consistently, but Dylan's just making it look super easy here as he's, again, really struggling to keep up with the Lambo and Macca in a straight line. He's slightly catching, I believe, but again, he's literally got a double toe as Rashback gets a little bit upset on that curb. Is this a chance for Dylan Tan to have a look? No, it's not. Into Hell Corner, he's getting right close. He's putting close there.
Putting pressure there.
I think that was definitely one of those, I'm not, but if you're not going to close the door, I might just kind of kick it open with my foot, see whether or not I might have a sneaky little something there, almost.
Exactly, just stick nose in and then see what happens.
Yeah.
That's it, just in case he wasn't aware that the big beamer was in his mirrors, he definitely was now.
Yeah.
As we see here, sorry to cut you off there. I thought he was going to go. I thought Tam was going to go for a move going into turn 2 there, but still just right tucked under the rear wing of Rashmat there. I don't know how this guy does it. He's been doing it for the last 10 minutes now. It's just insane. Look at the gap in between those two cars right now. Tan is putting a mile of pressure on Rashmat.
Yeah, and we're starting to see those. I was gonna call it an unforced error, but really it is a forced error here, as he's making little mistakes and just dropping off the back of Chan. And the thing I got to remind you too, being an international driver, you're going to have high ping, and to drive that close with high ping is just even harder again. Like you don't get the updates as quick, and it's just unbelievable the fact that you can do that. The way to describe it is if you're at like 0.1, if you're at 100 ping, that's like driving with 4 beers in your system. That's how much of an effect it is on you. So it's quite amazing that Dylan's able to drive this close with that disadvantage.
That's crazy. He's gonna go.
He's having a look.
Oh, he's having a look. He's definitely. He's almost doing like a little bit of a lousy there, where it's just like I'm not really. I'm not really looking to overtake here, but you know, just let you know that if you're not going to close the door, I'm definitely there.
Yeah. We're not getting a replay of description cameras.
You'd there, Glenn.
That's all right.
That's all right.
All good, mate. Doing well, Glenn.
So things have calmed down a bit, as they tend to do at Bathurst. Once everyone gets into a rhythm, you tend to want to really get in your groove and do your pace. And for this battle pack here, it's the 2-minute flats, and for Pip out front, it's a 59.5 seems to be the pace. She's got a little bit faster, but again, just creeping along, doing those lap times. Notice how she's not taking her pedal off the metal yet, though, because she knows if she backs off a bit too much, she might get that brain fog, that little mistake that we saw in the pro-ams. In the semi-pros. It was that kind of thing tends to happen when you back off. So she's just going to keep going full pace, like she's got someone breathing down her neck, and try and bring us all the way home. Although again, we've still got 46 minutes to go, so we're not even a quarter of the way into this race.
Yep, as you said, still a long way away for all these guys, and to be performing at such a high level for the next 46 minutes is, it takes a very, very special kind of driver to keep at this level, and I don't know how these guys do it, especially for a track like Bathurst. It's a sight to behold.
Pip actually has a penalty. What's going on here? Oh, for jumping the start? Possibly?
I was gonna say, yeah. I wasn't gonna mention it right at the start there, but it did look like Pip was in front a considerable amount, coming up to the start-finish straight there to start the race. So interesting development there. So Pip has a little bit more work to do now, but she's tracking nicely. 5.5 seconds ahead of Chan there, and she just needs to keep eking the gap out.
Yep, and Meg D confirms that it is for out of position at race start, which it did look a little bit. Like I said, she was at least half a car out of position. So, yeah, that was it.
I didn't think Tan was too far alongside of her either. So interesting that he might have dodged one there, being right alongside of her. But yeah, you can definitely tell there was a good couple of car lengths at the start there. Yes.
So yeah, too far to the not over to the left, was that? Yeah, mate. I love that they've got a lovely little heart thing there. So
a big incident there. Chan goes off, Rashmat goes off, and that leaves Tan with the open goal to take P2 for this race. And Rashmat's going to have a lot of damage. I believe Chan is still stationary there.
Yeah, he's had to wait for the whole field to go through.
Yes, yep, had to wait for the whole lot before he can turn around. Just missed right on the top of Skyline there. I just kind of saw that.
Oh,
there we go. He's still trying to turn around. Poor bloke.
Having to Austin Powers it.
Yeah.
It'd have no steering left in that thing at all.
You can just see that I believe the car is right hand down there. The car was not tracking nicely. Heavy suspension damage, and Rashmat does pull into the pits as expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
He would have limped that one back.
This is exactly what Pip needs. Unfortunate for the others, but yeah, 10-second penalty doesn't really matter if you're up the road. Although if she can't get ahead of Tan by 10 seconds before the pit stop, it might be a battle on, because Tan is very good at holding cars up behind him, and that's look at that.
Left hand down, 50-50, but yeah, big suspension damage, and that is going to take a long time to repair.
Yeah,
they'll have to repair that. That's undrivable.
That would be probably a minute 30 there, I reckon, worth of fix up, because a couple of days ago I pretty well had exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and well done for even making it back to the pits without having to return. That is a really good job. It really is such a painful thing. I've experienced that in real life myself, of sitting there watching all the cars drive past and you're like, I just want to go, please please be a gap somewhere. But really well done not to cause any more incidents after that by Chan.
Well, now, Dylan Tan wanted clean air. He is going to get it, so it'll be... I'm just keeping my eyes glued to the sectors right now as we can finally see the true pace of Dylan Tan. As we come up to the end of Sector 2, we'll see if he's made any ground here.
And he's
And
in about 8.5.
now it's 8.6, so Pip just edging out a little bit sector by sector, just a 10th here, a 10th there, and making sure that 10-second gap is there before the pit stops.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not Tan's actually going to now get into the 1 minute 59s, not being held up. What have we got? Oh, there we go, 1:59.8.
Right away, just piling the pressure onto Pip there, which Pip seems to be taking it very well as another 10th of a second eked out.
So Rashmat definitely the probably the worst of the losers out of that last little crash. He unfortunately sideswiped in that one.
Yeah, just an innocent bystander there, and Chan doing so well in P2 there. Like, he was my pick to, you know, be a bit of a dark horse here, but yeah, it's just had it crossed up over, like going down Skyline, and that was all she wrote. As we take a look at a replay here, well timed, as we see Chan with a sizable gap to 3rd and 4th there. They were having their own battle, as we see Chan all pretty ordinary and just misses that and gets an unlucky bounce. And wow, getting a bit of airtime at the front there, doing a massive wheel stand there, and yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah, it looked like the car bottomed out on the inside of the track there. That's really what happened. The car just absolutely shot into the air. It was... I'm surprised it ended up doing that. And the following car, unfortunately, sort of went in with sympathy too. If they just stayed on the race line and just slowed it up a little bit, probably would have been fine. But when your eyes get distracted with a car flying through the air and bouncing across the track, you tend to sometimes just end up getting caught in it yourself. So very unfortunate there.
Plus, let's not forget, Rashmat definitely would have had one eye on the mirror and one eye on the road ahead, with Tan putting miles and miles of pressure, as Tan, speaking of Tan, does go into the pits before Bakita. So Tan looking to get that undercut, and possibly, well, he's 10 seconds at the line there, but he did have to go through the pits. So we will see if Pip does go out ahead, or, you know, or if they come out side by side there at the end of this pit cycle.
Look at that consistency too there from Pip. Only 5 100ths different from her fastest lap. That lap, and I've seen her do a whole bunch of other times that are 4s, using all the track. Absolutely fine here.
If I was Pip, and if you don't have, if they're not strict on your actual,
here's the bounce.
He's just cooked it a little bit. Oh, there
and
he goes.
Yep. Massive endo there, and just straight into the inside barrier. Rashmat with almost nowhere to go there. You could arguably say that Chan's car would have bounced off the wall and back onto the racing line there.
Yeah.
Big opportunity for that, and it's very, very, very unfortunate incident. But when the mountain bites, it bites hard, and Chan found that out in a very cruel way.
Yes. Oh yeah, I was going to say there beforehand, being Pip, there you go. I was going to say whether or not she would try and stay out there with the fresh air for as long as she could. Obviously feeling that it's a good enough time to come in and into the pits and do the tyres.
Yeah, I'd say the thing about Bathurst is with how long the lap is, an overcut or undercut is only usually 1 to 2 laps different. You know, other tracks it can be 3 or 4, but here it's just such a long lap. You know, I don't think if she does another lap, she comes in at 35 minutes left. You know, it's sort of then she's got to do 2 15-minute stints because you got to take in the time, how long it takes to go down the pit lane and the 30 seconds at least to stop. So it's here we go.
Yeah, it'll be very, very interesting here. Great camera work as always from Glenn here, and we have a live feed of Tan going through the chase. Akita still taking her mandatory stop. I wonder who is going to come out in front here, as Akita's probably serving that 10-second penalty right as we speak. Tan rounds the final corner, and will we see Bakita head on to the back straight? She's off now, and this is going to be neck and neck, I believe, going.
Tan's got it. Wow.
And
Comfortably.
Tan with a sizable gap there.
She must have had a bad stop. That's all I can say. He must have got a fantastic stop. If you get your pit box wrong, your car gets moved and you generally drop about 2 or 3 seconds. So potentially that's what's happened there, because I thought they were going to come out. She was 10 seconds ahead going in, unless she decided to repair some damage or something she might have done on that last lap. I didn't really see anything that looked bad.
I think the last split before 10 actually came in, it was about 8.8, 8.9 seconds. I think there was a little bit of the slowdown coming through the pits there for Tan on as he actually crossed the start-finish line.
Ah, right, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So I think there was about that second, just over a second gap, so that definitely was the 10-second penalty coming to fruition there.
I'll tell you what, Pip is absolutely flying on the outlap here. Tyres are still cold, you know, brakes have had a bit of time to cool off, especially with that extra 10 seconds in the box, and wow, she is absolutely flying down there, leaving absolutely nothing on the table, going down Skyline there, like rear end out and everything.
I would definitely, if you're Tan, I would be very much looking in your mirrors, because she will be all over it.
Absolutely, and yeah, bloody, this is going to be absolutely, this stint, I reckon, will decide the race. Can Tan hold up Pip for at least until the next pit stops, round of pit stops, I should say.
Yep, agreed. It's 20 minutes of looking. it's the hunt. 20 minutes of the hunt.
Let's just say the hunter has now become the hunted, as Tan was absolutely hunting the back end of a rash mat there.
Yep.
Now Tan's got all this clean air in front of him, and now he's got a very hungry Pip behind him, looking to nibble the rear end of that BMW. As we cut to a bit of a change here with a big battle pack here. Biris very close to Bruno Gallo here.
Great little battle going on there through 8, 9, 10, 11. It's these guys are definitely not slow. They're definitely not that far off the pace. They're almost they're in each other's groove, but they're kind of not holding each other up, but not at the same time. It's a great little bit of race.
Yeah, well, way faster than I'll ever be. These guys just, you know, can't separate them all under a blanket right now. As Luca looking on the outside in for the top 10, and I don't know where he's going to get this move done, but I guess he's just going to have to hope for a mistake from Gallo.
Yep, that's it. Just keep applying the pressure.
It's good to see a bunch of different cars here all racing right up, and we've actually got rush marks looking like they're on the charge, coming back through the field. So they're only a couple of seconds behind this battle pack here, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye out on them as they come through.
Yeah, he does have, Rashmat does have a roadblock in the way of him in the name of Richuti. I can tell you from split green, that guy is very, very difficult to pass and very difficult to keep behind.
We're on board with the Laundry House Racing livery. Just about everyone's favourite livery in this grid. Just looks absolutely fantastic. And we're on a beautiful sounding Porsche. I love the sound of this engine. I drove a whole split in this car just because I like the sound of the engine.
Yeah, I mean it's partially why I've picked the Porsche for the sprints, because it's a absolutely amazing car to drive, and like a bit temperamental at times, but you just can't go past that engine sound. It is, that flat six just screams in your ear, and it's an absolute orchestra at times.
And it's such a unique car as well. There's no other car that really feels like it when you drive it. Like, you know you're in the Porsche when you're driving it. Where a few of the other cars have similarities to other things. This thing's just a beast of its own.
Absolutely.
We are on the lock stops there. Look at the warnings there on all flashing on the dashboard.
What are you doing?
That's yeah, very exciting there when you know you're 110% on the brake and you need to back it off a little bit as ABS and stability is kicking in.
Very, very common sight if you're a Porsche driver, that's for sure. Like ABS and especially the TC work in overdrive when you're really on the limit.
Yeah, and those we keep seeing pop up in that mirror as we come into each corner,
Isn't it?
is all over the back, or was, but I think possibly went a little bit deep actually at the end of onward there. I guess it's my guess, because it looked like he got right up in the mirror, but now there's a bit of a gap now.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
right over the curb.
Coming out at the end of the straight, yes.
I will say though, I do love the Dankachu livery from Luca there. As just again outside looking in, P10 is just one car up ahead of Luca, and yeah, I'm gonna throw it to chat here. Do we think that Luca will get that legendary Godzilla Nissan, Datsun, whatever you want to call it, into the top 10 or
He
deep into
does.
the top 10 possibly?
Because someone just pitted, so.
Well, there we go. That answers my question, but I'm looking deep in, like maybe, yeah, at the end of this race, see if he has any shot of getting to the top 10.
So we've had Rashmat actually get past Rishuti. So he's
Yes.
on the charge. Here comes Rashmat after being caught up in
Yes.
Chan's mistake. And he's going
Luca,
hard.
the question will be, will Luca make it to the top 10, or will Rashmat beat him to it?
Well, judging by Rashmat's pace, it's you'd be very, very brave to bet against this guy to finish, like not only in the top 10, but maybe even deep inside the top 10. This guy's just got bucket loads of pace.
He is only 5 seconds off of like a P6-ish. So he can definitely, if he gets the hammer down, he can do it. There's still 30 minutes left in the race, or 28 minutes, so plenty of time to do it.
Only just over halfway, and look at the gap that he's already put out over Rashiki. Just in not even a full lap's worth. He's definitely got the head down.
And I tell you what, Rashmat has a lot of cars to pass, as I believe there's like a 4-way battle there for P7, I believe. So it's massive. Look at the train there. Rashmat's soon going to make it a 5-car battle. So hold on to your hats, folks. This is going to be this is another battle that's just brewing here.
Absolutely. Gonna ride that train.
Meanwhile, Pip is closing in on Dylan Tan. It's now down to 1.1 seconds, where it was about 1.7 a couple laps ago. So Pip just being probably 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster than Dylan Tan out the front there, as Dylan's actually got some blue flag traffic. He's using the draft. I'm not sure if he got badly held up or if he's just like, I'll take that free slipstream. That'd be great. Thank you very much, Jonikov. So he goes a lap down. Yeah, I'd say he was just using the draft, saying thank you very much. As Pip has caught a little bit, but not too much.
I'm going to say whether or not that little bit of lap traffic just coming down through the mountain, that's now taken, you know, another 0.2 of a second out. And he's done very well to let Pip through there without holding her up as well. But that gap, 0.8, that's getting very close to firing line.
Coming now just under a second now to the leader. Pip is on an absolute charge. He's got the fastest lap as well. So, you know, Tan is going to try and make that BMW that's already quite wide as possible. As Pip is going to have to use all of her brain power to get past this man.
It's one thing to be able to catch him, it's another thing to get past.
Absolutely, and but we have seen that Tan is quite quick across the top of the mountain, so
Yes, indeed, yeah.
that's it. Well, you've got two sides of the coin here. You got the straight line speed of the McLaren, but the absolute steadiness and steadfastness and just outright pace going down the mountain and across on top of the mountain of the BMW. So this is an intriguing battle, to say the least.
Yeah, don't underestimate that speed of that BMW in a straight line. It was very, very quick at Paul Ricard, so I would be surprised if he's got that thing tuned for a fair bit of straight line speed here. So Pip is absolutely chasing those chasing that slipstream. I was going to say she's chasing the wheel tracks is the word I was going to look for. Just absolutely mimicking everything John Tan does down the home straight, as she closes up quite a bit through the chase there.
Yep. That she's taken at least half a second out of him just in this last lap.
Yeah. There it is. Pip with the fastest lap, 59.1. That is wild.
That's a fired up bull there. Wow.
Wowee. Pip just turning on the afterburners right now. Has taken half a second out of 10 in that very lap, and she's got a very, very nice slipstream coming into turn 2. Don't think she's going to get the move done here, but watch out for the next lap, or possibly down in Conrod Straight. Pip is going to be laser focused on that rear end of the BMW throughout the mountain, and one bit of a mistake there, and Tan just shuts the door.
Overcooked that one just a little bit there.
Yeah, good save though, he caught it, and good job for Pip, thinking I'll go down the inside here. No, he's gathered it up, and his car's going to be right in the way. That's always a bit awkward when the guy in front has a half lose, and you go, oh, do I go for it, or do I sit out? Because if you go for it and they gather it up, you just drive into the side of them, which is exactly what happened. So Pip did a fantastic job just to back out. It did lose her some time, but she's going to close that gap back up. Meanwhile, in the middle of the pack, we've actually had Cook have a little bit of a mistake in that Porsche and drop back a couple of positions. So Briss and Rashudi's managed, Burrs and Rashudi have half Cook somewhere across the top. I'd say potentially a little bit of a mistake there, because Burrs has dropped off the back of the battle pack that we were mentioning so much about. So I'd say something's come a cropper as we get a penalty handed out to Shodakov.
Yeah, that'd be just for ignoring blue flags. So while all drivers do very well with their blue flags, like the blue flag standard for OOR is very good compared to other leagues that I have driven. But Yeah, just unlucky, just getting out of the way soon enough and just gets a little slap on the wrist. 5 seconds is really not that much in the grand scheme of things, especially when you've got 22 minutes left on track. So just have to pop that one on the chin and just drive on.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling this is going to be whoever pits first is going to be the one that ends up behind out of these two. The overcut's probably going to come in strong here. So Pip hitting a little bit later, 1 lap later than Tan last time. I think potentially has more fuel, but again, you don't really know what Tan put in. Tan might have put a bit of extra fuel in, knowing Pip's going to end up behind me. So let's just try and run long and stay in front and force her to have to go through me to get to the lead. So Pip's again here. The tyres look like they're struggling a little bit there, struggling to stay to the right apex just before the dipper there.
It seems like the front end's just not biting as well as Pip wanted to. As a little bit of a scrape coming out of Forest Elbow, almost did a Dick Johnson back in, I believe it was 82 or 83, something like that. You know the one.
Clipping the wall and breaking his tyre rod and going into the trees, is that the one?
Right up,
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Everyone's seen that footage 100 times. Man, this track has some really iconic moments about it. Also the corner that the tree fell across the track during the 12 hour. I was actually at the track when that happened, and it was a very boring couple of hours up on top of the hill where we just waited for the track to get clear.
Also the same spot where all the climb was at 92.
Yeah, it was 92 when they had a massive downpour and everyone just started to pile up. It's just became an ice skating rink so quickly. Like the most sudden downpour you'll ever get, as Bakita just keeps piling the pressure on. Tan is doing a fantastic job. Not only was he good at applying the pressure, but taking it, as Bakita is right tucked under the rear wing there of that BMW.
Yeah, Tan is a young fella, but very seasoned, very cool, calm and collected, and drives exceptionally well. He literally has the best ACC driver in Australia at the moment, the one that's leading the championship, the one that's up on points, using all the track in the fastest car as well. And he's just driving his lines, hitting his apexes, and saying, "Come on, Pip, throw me your best. What can you do? You got to make this happen. Let's go." And he's just driving corner after corner. Ooh, little touch. Ooh, maybe a little bit of slowing it up, just to say, are you paying attention?
And maybe just giving Tan just that little bit of a speed boost down Conrod Straight, because he will definitely need it, as that McLaren is just getting closer and closer with every single lap. I mean, Pip was right on the rear wing, going all the way down Skyline. Incredible driving.
And Tan comes in.
There we go. That 1 lap early. This will be a great little point here. Will she be able to make the jump? Will Tan be able to hold on?
Well, let's just say Pip will need the absolute in-lap of her life right now to have a chance of getting in front of Tan here, as we see Koza also peeling into the pits. Everyone will start peeling into the pits right now. Hindy doing a nice job there, deep inside the top 10.
Yeah, fantastic drive from Hind. We should be quite happy with how he's going. Bashuti's come into the pits as well, so on his charge back through the field. Do you mind if we jump on Pip over the top? I just want to see how she goes on her in-lap. Can we jump on board as well? I absolutely love watching Pip go 110%. By the way, she would be live on Twitch if you really want to go see what she has to say. She's very happy to talk about how she's going as well, so It's amazing how she can just like have her chin wag as she's going around it, like literally faster than just about 99% of people can do consistently as well.
Just absolute precision down Skyline, coming into Forest Elbow, leaving nothing on the table, clipping that apex nicely there, getting great traction out of Forest Elbow, coming down Comrade Straight. This has most certainly been the in-laps of all time.
I wonder if she's going to go for 2 laps, or whether she's going to get just one. Possibly just the one, but it's looking really nice and clean.
As I was saying there, they're braking at the 100-meter board going to chase. I just can't, like, my brain does not compute how late they brake.
So 59.4 as she crosses the line there. So she's gone a couple of tenths faster than when she was behind Chan. So again, sort of being unleashed here, and probably got to get these 2 laps in just to make sure. Sorry, not Chan, Tan. So Tan has not come out in traffic. That was actually a thought that possibly might end up in traffic with some of the back markers that haven't pitted yet. But he's about 7 seconds away from the car in front. So he's not getting as we've got a huge pit road. Sorry.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was just about to mention that Tan is just going through the chase now, as we see 5 cars in a row coming into the pits here. Very, very busy pit lane. Tawfiq as well joining them. You know, having a bit of a drink, having a bit of a chat, I'd say, as their cars are getting their 30-second mandatory pit, what would you say, like pit timer?
Yeah, it's pretty much because of that tyre change. It takes 30 seconds. Slap those tyres on. And it means you can put as much fuel or as little fuel as you want in, because that tyre change is always the bit that's the slowest bit.
Interesting to see how they're going to sort the field sorts out, whether there's any under or overs within that kind of that late top 10, whether they all come out same as they were, or if there's any that got a lap or 2 of clean air as well, similar to like what Pip's doing.
Well, that's it. Well, as we see Pip here, possibly she's coming into the pits now. There we go. A 2-lap overcut for Pip. Will that be enough to, you know, bring the deficit up? Well, you know.
I got a feeling it will be. Like, the cold tyres are just so much of a disadvantage for that lap. So she's at least going to have track position. She might have to fight off a raging Tan, but Bathurst is one of those tracks you can do it, because you've got half the track where they really just can't do much about it. No matter how much you're sliding around and moving, you have to pretty much fall off the track for them to go past you across the top. Or maybe he could be close enough to go for a run down the straight, but I got a feeling she's going to pull probably a few tenths of a second. It really depends on how well she hit the pit box more than anything.
Well, that's it. I'm predicting a well, all depends also what Tan's first proper lap out is. If he's in the 1:59s, don't be surprised to see if he's going to be tucked right under Pip's wing here as they.
Here we go.
He's ahead.
He's done it again.
And Tan is ahead of Pip here, and Pip on cold tires here. So yeah, very, very interesting development. Tan just has to hold on for the next 13 minutes.
I have no idea how he's done that. That is. Oh, she forgot to unset damage, so she's repaired damage.
Oh, seconds.
Precious seconds there.
Thank you very much, ChatNav, for that. That's very crucial information. So make sure when you're driving, if you have very minor damage, you want to turn off the repair damage, because you'll sit there for another couple of seconds and repair that. That makes total sense, because I'm like, there's no way she lost time. She was pumping along doing faster times than what Dylan could do. But now the chase is on. He's made this. She's fighting with one arm tied behind her back now, pretty much. It's had a 10-second penalty, and then in self-invoked another 3 to 5 second penalty, I'd say. As the goes hard, and we'll see what happens.
I wonder if that was,
sorry.
I was going to say, I wonder if that was that light little love tap just coming out of Forrester, where it wanted that on a Conrod there a few laps ago, whether she just had a bit of that front end damage from that.
Very, very good point. I believe so. And, well, folks, let's just say Pip is just making this race more interesting. Let's just say that.
Yep.
And Rushmart's actually now in P8, by the way. So,
wow, he's on track.
Yeah, big recovery after being pretty much at the rear of the pack there. I believe Rashmat was around like P14, P15 when he made the first pit stop, and yeah, absolutely a drive full of tenacity, and just went, you know, took it on the chin, and now looking at a very comfortable top 8 position with Hindy in front. Very difficult car to pass, but anything's possible at the mountain.
Looking too that between 10 and Dylan and Pip, there's another 10-second gap back to Marilla, who seems to have a 5-second gap. So at the moment, 11 minutes to go. Marilla definitely looks like got third position in the bag. No real pressures in front or behind in that one.
yeah, and he'll be absolutely wrapped with that, with the fact that he started P5 and he's just moved up into the podium position after driving a nice, clean race so far. Samuels and Hobbs, though, they look like they want to fight right to the end. Samuels with the quick old McLaren at this track, and Hobbs being the lead Ferrari, trying to rep the Italian squad. Yeah, and yeah, we've just had notes that Glenn says there. They've been pretty much locked like this the whole race, so Hobbs is very used to the back of that car in front, so I wonder if they'll have a chance to be able to get a battle, although that Macca is exceptionally hard to pass because of its straight line speed. It might take a mistake from Samuels to for Hobbs to be able to get by, but I think this, like, Hobbs looks racy, so there's certain parts of the track where Hobbs really closes up, as we see here.
I will say, like, right then, he made up a bunch of time going into Sector 3, 2/10 in fact, and don't discount Hobbs here. You know, like, just takes one little mistake from Samuel, and let me tell you, going down Skyline, he looked very squirrely.
Definitely not going to leave anything on the table, these two.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to go down to the wire. Same with the lead, I believe. Although Nikita maybe having that outlap to deal with has now, the gap has kind of increased to 1.6 seconds, but expect that gap to go down, you know, by a bunch, pretty much to nothing by the end of this one. So strap yourselves in, folks. This is going to be another big finish. like the finish in Pro-Am, this pro race is just as exciting.
Definitely it is. Rushmat is also looking very racy on the back of Connor Hines, so that is another battle to be looking out for. There's 3 battles really happening at the moment. Connor Hines having a pretty clean race himself, so it's interesting to see if Rushmat could get past cleanly with how quick they are. They're only just behind the other battle, so potentially Rushmat looking to try and chase them down, although the further you get up the field, the harder it is to keep passing cars because you don't have as much of a pace advantage on them. But Rushmat's definitely looking very quick here. Could easily still be near that Dylan Tan and Philip Bakita fight. The unfortunate events in the first stint.
As we cut to 7 minutes left in the race, lots of battles happening up and down the track here. As we see, just looking at the splits now, we've got Luke Birris. I was just about to mention Lucas, but yeah, Cook, after possibly making a mistake there, as Birris just absolutely hanging it out there, using all of the road coming out of turn 1. Yeah, he's got a fired up Porsche, looking to spoil his P11 here, and while at the same time, Birris still hunting down P10 there. Like, was hunting Gallo in the first and second stint, and yeah, so he's still got something to fight for, as we have Hobbs and Samuel still locked in, like horns locked into battle, as if Hobbs can just stick anywhere near the rear end of that McLaren, down Skyline and through Forest Elbow, he will have a very, very good chance at possibly getting some slipstream and being equal to Samuel coming into the chase, and that will be some prime time viewing here, as it's just a little bit too far back, but the slipstream effect is very strong, especially at a track like Mount Panorama. We'll just wait and see. There's another fastest lap for Pip there. That gap has gone down quite considerably.
She's done the 5.8 too. Sorry, a 58.9. So she's into the 58. So that's another 0.2 faster than her previous fastest lap. So that is, she's putting everything into this race.
I wonder whether or not there was a bit of from the McLaren behind him, just a bit of lap traffic kind of, which increased that gap from, which might have been why it was out to that kind of 1.6 second mark. I think that's Chan there, isn't it?
Up ahead?
No, that was behind. It was just wondering whether or not he might have been between these two, between Dylan and Pip. Why that gap might have kind of increased a little bit there last lap.
Possibly. I mean, it's... Yeah, it's... Oh, that's really wide for Pip there. That's huge. That might be the race.
That is a big let off there from Pip, and Tan has possibly just eked out half a tenth. Oh, sorry, half a second, I should say, just in that sector alone because of that mistake. One mistake, and yeah, we'll have a look at the splits here.
Yeah, wow. It's a whole second. A whole second mistake there. I wonder if she got the wall or if she just got crossed up. She might have potentially even got the wall. But I'd say that's probably it. I mean, Dylan can cruise. He's not that much slower than Pip. She's only going to have... Oh, she's actually going to have 3 more laps as they cross the line. Yep.
These are going to have to be absolutely bonsai laps now to have even a sniff at Tan coming into the possibly the final part, like coming into the chase for the final lap. So hang on tight, folks. Bakita is going to be doing some absolutely just full out quality, balls to the wall, just pace towards the... Yeah, I don't even have the words to describe it. She's going to be fast. She's going to be fast.
She's going to be after doing the 58s every lap, and because Dylan's doing 0.4s, so he is moving. He's increased his pace as well, trying to work this gap. But man, she's already closed up a couple of tenths in the first sector of this lap. If she gets 2 tenths per sector with about 9 sectors left, she will definitely close that gap up. And man, she's going hard down here. here we go. We're going to get a replay, I'd say, of Pip's little mistake. Hasn't hit the wall, just...
Oh, there we go.
Does clip the wall.
Just clips the wall on the inside there. Turns in maybe a fraction too early, and as we saw there, that cost her a full second.
Yeah, but she did that so she didn't end up in the wall. I think she really just slowed it up, straightened it up, and then turned it back in. Man, she has caught another couple of tenths there, so she's going to be probably getting close to under a second at the end of this lap. But again, only leaving herself. Dylan pops a wheel in the grass, so again, he's pushing hard as well himself.
Tell you what, a lot of pro drivers doing that. Is that possibly a new line coming out of the chase there? Because everyone just seems to be doing it, and you know it's working for Tan because he's just eked out half a tenth out of that sector. So maybe they something we don't. Here we go, and Hindy, Rashmat having a little look. Hindy shuts the door, and he'll have to wait one more lap.
Which, by the look of that, is probably all that he's going to have to. A minute 40 left. And, yep, you've got to, now's the time. If you're going to be bold, this is when you've got to be bold.
Well, that's it. They're only just coming up the cutting now. A minute 30 to get around for another lap. But does Tan slow it up a little bit to maybe run down the clock? Who knows?
I don't think he'd have to hold up Philippa about 5 seconds, I'd say, across the top. So I don't think he does that. I think he just keeps his pace up and finishes with that extra lap. So we've actually got a yellow flag in the... Ooh, that was a bit... As I'm saying that, that's a very big crossed up moment there from Tan. So he's lost a fair bit of time. Pip sideways again, four-wheel drifting. Oh, she's hit the wall.
Oh,
I think that's it.
That was a big clap of the wall there. She is going so hard. I'm trying to figure out who it was that was off at...
I think it was Gibbons. I did see car number 380 with a little yellow circle around it. So yeah, I think it was 380 that had a bit of a moment going into Murray's.
Yep, I'd say just cooked it and spun.
Yeah, so Pip hasn't gained this lap, unfortunately, due to that touching of the wall after the dip.
But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get one more racing lap just with about maybe 8 seconds to go, 10 seconds to go. We are going to get one more lap in this. Pip only 7 tenths behind. It's too close to call.
Yeah, this is some serious pace here. I wonder if Rashmat is going to get behind. He is still there, 2 tenths behind, not getting it done this lap. He's going to have one more attempt down the main straight. Sorry, not down the main straight. Down Conrod one more time. He's just got to get close enough, I guess, because he's got the power of the Lambo. The Lambo would be quicker than the Ferrari in a straight line. Just got to get himself in a position to be able to use that. That's where right up behind. Pip is now 3 tenths behind, going across, going up the mountain. Still, they're on the climb. Here they come.
As I just see in chat there, Kieran Reid just chewing all the fingernails here. I'm surprised any of us have any fingernails left. This is a nail-biting finish, to say the least. And Tan getting it very, very close to the wall. Both of them there. It's just
this is where it's got to happen.
That's it. Forest Elbow. Good run out of Forest Elbow for both drivers here. Bakita is right tucked up under the rear wing of Tan here. And as we come down the Conrod Straight, tucked in.
Extra straight.
Here it comes. This is it.
It comes.
It's going to happen. Outside.
She's on the outside. She's on the outside. Who's going to brake? Who's going to overbrake?
Big move.
Oh, Pip does it! Around the outside, going into the chase. And Pip looks like she has this one in the bag. Final corner. Tan tries everything, and Tan overcooks it. And Pip will take this one on the last lap. What a pass going into the chase. Absolutely outstanding driving from the both of them. Pip takes P1, Tan takes P2, Morella far behind, but then just now takes P3, and we've got a battle here for P6. And Hindy, it looks like they're all going to hold station here. Big braking from all of them, and it is as they are. Hobbs P6, Hindy P7, and Rashmat, great recovery back in P8 there.
Wow.
Wow, what a finish. What an absolute finish. That was the best exit that Pip, I think, had the whole time coming out onto Conrod Straight. How she managed to just land that, and I think that compared to that last time.
Here's the replay.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to take a replay at this. Pip just sends it around the outside. They almost touched there. Forces Tan to take a little bit of curb there. And Pip, wow. Like, I knew she was going back to second there. She was going to try it around the outside and was going to stick it, as we see Tan trying so hard to get something out of it to force Pip into a mistake, as we see a bollard just absolutely explode in front of our eyes there. But
No reason. Yeah.
But for no reason, as Pip takes the win, coming into the chase round the outside. That is one of the best moves I have ever seen.
That is an epic racing.
Yeah, and I think that's just payback for Paul Ricard, because if I remember right, we had Dylan Ted go around the outside of her at the end of the massive long straight at Paul Ricard. So that is just absolutely fantastic. Pip proving why she is number one on the leaderboard in our Australian Motorsport Simagic GT3 Cup, brought to you by Octane Online Racing. Well done, Pip. I just, all of us have to take our hat off. Really good effort though, Dylan's hand. That was fantastic to stand up to the blowtorch that was breathing down your neck for 30 minutes straight. That was absolutely unbelievable racing by both the drivers out in front. Fantastic job for the whole field. Big shout out to Glenn for pushing the buttons. Big shout out to everyone in chat who got to see that wonderful race and also the previous race, because both were fantastic. If you missed out on that, go back and watch it. You can just click on the buttons on YouTube and just wind back and see it for yourselves. This has been Daniel and Brad and Justin, myself. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We will see you guys next week for some more. Oh, not next week.
Yeah,
week
2
after
weeks.
that. That's right. It's PAX weekend, so there's lots happening. Make sure you tune in. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't hit the subscribe button. Support us on Patreon as well. That goes a really, really long way. If you want to see more crazy, awesome racing like this, Patreon's the way to go to keep this community alive and thriving. And if not, come and join us. Come and join us during the week. We're always looking for more drivers to race. Shout out to Dan, to Jan. Thank you very much for doing awesome. Thank you to the stewards. And I can't wait for 2 weeks' time with some more awesome racing. We'll see you guys and girls next time.
What's up?